Emma was digging through her grandfather's old photo album when she found a black and white picture that made no sense. A whole room, wall to wall, packed with wires, switches, and thousands of glowing glass tubes. She asked, "Grandpa, what is this?" Her grandfather smiled and said, "That, my dear, is one of the very first computers." It was as big as a whole room. Emma couldn't believe it. A computer? Her computer fit inside her backpack. This one needed its own building. Hey, I'm Byte, and this photograph is the beginning of one of the wildest true stories in history. How machines the size of classrooms shrank down into the phone in your pocket. Buckle up. We're going back to the 1940s. This is LittleAIMaster, where you don't just use artificial intelligence. You learn to raise one. And it all starts with understanding where computers came from, because every AI today is built on a story that began 80 years ago. So why did anyone build a machine the size of a room? Because in the 1940s, the world had enormous problems, and all of them came down to one thing: math. Fast, difficult, endless math that humans simply couldn't keep up with. World War II needed instant calculations for artillery. Spies needed to crack enemy secret codes before it was too late. Predicting the weather took millions of steps. And scientists exploring space and physics were drowning in equations. Everything demanded speed humans just didn't have. Here's the thing: humans could not calculate fast enough, no matter how many people you hired. The world needed something brand new, something that never got tired, never got bored, and could think at the speed of electricity. It needed a machine. Now here's a fact that blows most people's minds. Before electronic computers existed, the word computer wasn't a machine at all. It was a job title. A computer was a person, someone whose entire job was to sit in a room and do math all day long. Imagine that as your job. A single complicated problem could take these human computers days, sometimes even weeks, to finish. And because they were human, they got tired. Tired people make mistakes. And in wartime, one wrong number could cost lives. And here's a part of history that got hidden for far too long. Many of these human computers were women, doing astonishing calculations for space missions and the war effort. They were absolute heroes. But even heroes get tired, and the world needed something that never would. So engineers built one. Its name was ENIAC, which stands for Electronic Numerical Integrator and Computer. And ENIAC was, frankly, a monster. Not a scary monster. A magnificent, impossible, mind-bending monster of a machine. Let me show you just how big. ENIAC stretched 30 meters long, bigger than a classroom. It weighed 30 tons, as heavy as 6 elephants. Inside it glowed 18,000 vacuum tubes, each one like a little light bulb. And it guzzled enough electricity to power 100 homes. Here's my favorite detail. ENIAC was so power-hungry that when engineers switched it on, people say the lights across the whole city of Philadelphia would flicker and dim. One machine, dimming an entire city. That is how much energy the first computers drank. All 18,000 of those glowing tubes worked together like one enormous electric brain, firing on and off, doing sums no human could match. In LittleAIMaster, when you build your own tiny AI brains, you're standing on the shoulders of this giant. But ENIAC wasn't the only pioneer machine. Across the ocean in Britain, there was a computer so secret that almost nobody knew it existed for decades. Its name was Colossus, built in 1943, and its mission was to break the enemy's unbreakable codes. Colossus tore through the secret messages of Nazi Germany, revealing their plans. Historians believe the codebreakers shortened the war and saved thousands, maybe millions of lives. A machine of wires and tubes, quietly changing the course of history from a secret room. And behind so much of this brilliance was one man, Alan Turing. People call him the father of computer science, and honestly, without Turing, I wouldn't exist. He designed the very ideas that every single modern computer, including the one you're watching this on, still runs on today. Here's what made Turing a genius. Back in 1936, years before any real computer was switched on, he described how a computer could work using nothing but paper and imagination. He proved the idea worked before the machine ever existed. Turing gave us 3 enormous gifts. The Turing machine, which showed how computers could work on paper. Cracking the Nazi Enigma code, which helped win the war. And the Turing test, a clever way to ask, can a machine actually think like a human? Every step on your learning journey in this app, from your first quiz to raising your own AI, traces right back to Turing's paper machine. He drew the map. We're all still following the trail he sketched almost 90 years ago. Now let me introduce someone who saw the future even earlier. Way earlier. Ada Lovelace, born in 1815. She wrote the very first computer program in 1843, more than 100 years before ENIAC was ever built. Read that again. There were no computers when Ada lived. None. And yet she wrote step-by-step instructions, real algorithms, for a machine that hadn't even been built. She is history's first computer programmer, decades before the machine to run her code existed. And here's the part that gives me goosebumps. Ada didn't just see a calculator. She predicted that one day machines could create music and make art. In 1843, she imagined creative AI before electricity powered a single home. Talk about being ahead of your time. When you raise your own AI right here in the app, teaching it, growing it, watching it create, you are doing the exact thing Ada Lovelace could only dream about in her imagination. Her vision, almost 200 years later, in your hands. Quick pause for one of my favorite true stories. Have you ever heard someone say a program has a bug? Ever wondered why we call errors bugs? Well, in 1947, there was a computer scientist named Grace Hopper, and she found something very strange. Grace discovered an actual moth stuck inside the computer, jamming the machine. So she carefully taped the real moth into her logbook and wrote next to it, "First actual bug found." That's it, a real insect. And ever since, we've called computer errors bugs and fixing them debugging. Speaking of bugs, whenever you get stuck coding in LittleAIMaster, you can ask me, Byte, for help. I won't just hand you the answer. I'll help you find your own bug, just like Grace Hopper did, so you actually learn how to squash it yourself. So how did we get from a 30-ton giant to a phone in your pocket? It happened decade by decade, and once you see the pattern, you'll never forget it. This is the great shrinking of the computer. Let's ride the timeline together. The 1940s gave us room-sized giants with vacuum tubes. The 50s and 60s brought transistors, making computers 100 times faster and 10 times smaller. The 70s and 80s put desktops in homes. The 90s added the internet and laptops. And today, AI and smartphones. If there's one hero of the shrinking story, it's the transistor, a tiny electronic switch that replaced those big hot glass tubes. Transistors don't burn out, they don't overheat, and they're microscopic. Your phone has billions of them, each one smaller than a single human hair. And here's the beautiful part. In this app, you write real Python code, giving instructions the same way programmers do all over the world. The 18,000-tube ENIAC needed a whole team to program by hand. You do it with a few taps on a screen. Now for the number that truly shows how far we've come. ENIAC could do 5,000 calculations per second, amazing for 1945. Your phone, 100 billion per second. That makes your pocket phone about 20 million times faster than a machine that filled an entire room. And ENIAC wasn't cheap. It cost around $500,000 back then, roughly $8 million in today's money. Only governments could afford one. It took 6 people to operate. Today, that unimaginable power sits in your pocket, and it also has a camera and GPS. Computers made a giant leap in 80 years. And every lesson you finish here, you can watch your own progress climb. Your streaks, your XP, your growing skills. Just like those machines, you're getting more powerful with every single step. Let's bring it all the way back to Alan Turing. In 1950, he asked a question that sounded like science fiction. Could a machine ever hold a conversation so well that you couldn't tell if you were talking to a human or a computer? That was the Turing test. For 75 years, that was just a dream. But today, AI chat systems can hold conversations so natural, so human, that Turing's dream has essentially come true. The idea he imagined on paper, before real computers existed, is now something you can chat with every single day. From human computers to six-elephant giants, to code breakers and dreamers like Turing and Ada, every one of them was a pioneer. And now it's your turn. In LittleAIMaster, you get to create, build, and raise your very own AI. You are the next pioneer in this story. Finish this chapter and you'll earn your History Explorer badge. You'll know why computers were born, how ENIAC shook a city, who Turing and Ada were, and how a real moth gave us the word bug. That's real knowledge, and it's yours to keep. So remember, don't just use artificial intelligence. Learn to raise one. Tap in, start your journey, and next up we discover how AI even got its name at a very special meeting back in 1956. I'm Byte. I'll see you there.